We are taking a look at Anomaly Arbitration for version 4.2. We're going to talk about the stage effects, the buffs, the bosses, talk about some teams, and do a little demo. So let's get into it. We'll start right with Night 1. And the stage effect for Night 1 is Confinement. This is the effect where you start with 2 stacks of 10% damage reduction. So you'll start with 20% damage decrease, and each stack goes away every time you use an ultimate. So this buff is not even that bad to begin with, and you're going to use 2 ultimates pretty quick, so it's really not too much to worry about. You don't need to build, an ultimate focused team or anything. It does help if you have somebody who's going to ultimate quickly, but I wouldn't worry too much about this in terms of your planning. And kind of the same thing for the enemies. So this is another night where there's no one big boss. It's a lot of big chunky elite enemies, and so it's marked as Rocking Rebel because he's kind of the biggest, baddest enemy out of them all, but nothing too much to worry about strategy wise on these either. Elation is a little bit helpful to dispel some of the effects a little bit faster, but you will naturally gain punchline from their effects, and it'll just all be fine. Your biggest problems are going to be, one, that these are very high HP chunky enemies, and there's a lot of them that you have to chew your way through. So you're going to need a really strong team, and they hit very hard. So, there's not really too much strategy to this one. Just you're going to have to pick whatever strongest team you have available after picking with the other knights to survive. The one new mechanic here is we do have the new Joy Ascendant enemy in this wave, and these are very annoying because when you defeat them, they split into 2 more, and they do that 2 times. So there's one Joy Ascendant is something like, 5 or 6 or maybe 7 different enemies packed into one. So it's just a lot more HP to chew through. Just strategy-wise, always focus on breaking the highest level ones so you can start getting the other copies out, and your AoE can start hitting them as quickly as possible. In terms of teams, again, you're going to want some heavy-hitting, whatever strongest team you have available. Since these are elite enemies, and there's usually only 3 or 4 on the screen at a time, you can pick characters that are strong, single target or blast characters, and start chipping your way through them. So I've found using Firefly is pretty good, especially if you have her E2. She can be very strong here with her blast attacks. Finon with his bounce is pretty good. Ashvale, I think, is very good, even though he's single target, again, just being able to burst down these enemies. And his ultimate works really good on the new enemy type, because even if you take one out, it will pause, let them respawn the new enemies, and keep hitting them with the rest of his ultimate. So it's actually pretty effective when you're fighting them. So for today's demo, I am going to be using Ashvale. For all my demos on these, I try to only use E0 characters to try to keep it somewhat relatable. So I do have E0 S1 Ashvale. I have E1 E0 Tribby using Dance Dance Dance. And I have E1 S1 Sunday and E0 S1 Dan Heng PT. So, the teams I mentioned are some good options. You can use Ashvale, Firefly, especially E2, Finon, I was able to clear pretty good with. You might even have some good results with Dot if you're using the Hysolins, the full Hysolins Dot team. So that's also worth a shot. Okay, moving on to Night 2. The stage effect here is Stability. And this is interesting because it's a debuff and a buff. So it decreases the damage dealt by all ally targets by 10%. So you get a 10% damage decrease, but it also decreases your damage taken by 10%. So that makes it so it doesn't... It's interesting. The 10% damage debuff is not like anything. You have so many sources of damage buffs in this game that 10% is nothing. But the damage decrease is interesting, because it doesn't sound a lot, but it's a lot more effective working the other way. So that can actually help you. I haven't been bold enough to attempt it sustainless on this particular knight, since it involves having one character isolated. But this is going to come up again in King, where it actually does help in making sustainless a little more viable. So that said, I don't think this affects your planning too much. You might want to try your sustainless team and just see how it goes, or you could use somebody like Ho-Ho, like I'm going to use, that maybe is not always the best sustain option as far as keeping you alive against real heavy hitting enemies, but she becomes an option here. As far as the boss, we've got the Sparksy fight. So if you are familiar with this fight, this is the one where you pick one of your teammates and they go into a subfield by themselves, where they have to defeat 3 enemies as quickly as possible and get back on the field. That makes Sparksy weaker, and you can kind of take her out and go to the next phase. And then as far as the rest of your team, they will still be fighting the main Sparksy. They can't really do a lot of damage, but she'll have the monitors up, where if you hit the one on the left, it will increase the damage of the character in the subfield. And if you hit the one on the right, it will decrease the damage that they take. So you can kind of manipulate and help a little bit that way. So basically you want to have a character that can survive and fight by themselves, because they will have to do that. You can cheat a bit with Elation, and Elation is by far the best team to use in the Sparksy fight, because Elation skills can hit both sides of the field. It's particularly nice with the Silver Wolf team when you have Sparksy as your sub DPS, because her Elation skill will also help you take out the subfield enemies. So that's the team I'm going to use in this case. And if you do have the Elation team, this is the best fight to use them. So I do have E0S1 Silver Wolf. I have E1 S1 Yao Guang, E0S1 Sparksy, and E0S0 Ho-Ho. I honestly don't even remember what light cone I have on her. If you don't have her light cone, it's not really all that important. You can either pick anything that's going to give you outgoing healing or energy, and it's fine. So on this team, I think I have something for outgoing energy, because Silver Wolf does not benefit from getting energy from other sources. Now, if you're wondering again why I've made that statement, but I have Ho-Ho. Ho-Ho will still give energy to Yao Guang, and more energy to Yao Guang means more aha instants. So she is still good on this team, even though Silver Wolf does not need energy. As far as alternatives, this one is a bit tougher. Like I said, you're going to want somebody who can fight by themselves and do some big damage to 3 targets. So again, blast attacks are good. Fireflies can be good on this fight as well. I think I've had the most success just using Castress and brute forcing it, because she can just brute force those 3 enemies really fast in like 1 or 2 dragons and get you out of there really quick. So it's best to use Elation, though, if you have it. Okay, so Night 3, the effect is Taunting. So enemy targets immediately take action after being attacked 6 times, and that resets at the start of their turn. So this effect normally is not that big a deal. It does help HP teams that usually want to take damage, because you're getting a little extra damage. But I'll tell you why it's particularly brutal in this fight, and it's not even Flame Reaver. It's the first wave, which you fight the 2 Mechatron enemies here. And so we have the imaginary and the fire type ones. And they get so many extra attacks as it is. So particularly if you are matching their type, so if you're an imaginary character and you attack the yellow one, it's going to automatically action advance them to take an attack. If you're a fire type and you attack the red one, it's going to automatically advance its attack or action, and you're going to get attacked. And then they have other parts of their kit where they're basically just like counter damaging you. And when you add the taunt effect on top of it, they're just going to be constantly hitting you. It's brutal. So be prepared for that. Use an HP-based team. Casterus and Evernight are the only ones that are kind of strong enough to get through the second half, which is the Flame Reaver fight, which is kind of the challenge. For example, I'll give you an example. Mighty is fantastic fighting against the Mechatrons because he wants to just get pummeled. And they are primarily single target attacks, so he can taunt them and just take tons of damage and dish out tons of damage. The problem is he is not great in the Flame Reaver fight, and so that's kind of where you get slowed down. So it's really Casterus and Evernight that are going to be your best options as far as getting through this, because they are good at handling the Flame Reaver fight. Now, the Flame Reaver part, if you recall, because maybe it's been a while, the main thing with him is just take out the phantoms when they appear so that you don't get nuked. If you don't take them out, he's going to hit you with a really big nuke. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward fight, but, it's nice to have AoE in that fight so that you can take the phantoms out passively without having to take out each one individually. Unless you're Ashvale, because Ashvale can, just use his ult and clear them out that way. Okay. So in terms of teams, again, trying to keep this to E0, I am going to use Evernight solo. So I've got E0 S1 Evernight, I've got E0 S1 Cyrene, I've got E6 Remembrance Trailblazer, and I have E1 S1 Hyacine. If you don't want to use Remembrance, like I said, Ashvale's pretty good. Anybody with AoE can be okay. The Herta's good for the Flame. She kind of has the same problem as Mighty, where she's good against Flame Reaver, but she's bad against the robots. So it's tough if you're not playing Remembrance. But you'll definitely be able to survive the fight. You just might have trouble getting the full stars in that case. So that will do it then for the knights and the explanation. So let's get into the demo. So we are on Night 1 with the Rockin' Rebel Elite Enemy Wave fight. Not really a boss fight, I guess, and the Ashvale team. Let's get started.
Are they here for revenge as well?
A day of peaceful...
Trying to trick me?
Okay, so not too much to think about in the early goings of this fight.
I'll stand in their way.
I'm going to focus on taking out the smaller enemies first.
Dragons soaring above the lands. This is permanent.
And we'll focus on the schoolgirls. I like to kind of leave the blue robots up since they have a chance of punching the other enemies.
My job is to be
Although if all goes according to plan, they're not really going to have
I offer my blood.
that much of an opportunity.
Beasts slaughter each other.
I probably should have waited for Sunday to buff Ashvale first there.
I've heard the call.
So that's a mistake.
This mortal form. Watch over you.
But we'll be okay.
Guide you on your path.
It's a happy accident.
Arthur and I. Fight to the death.
Okay, so we'll take the other one out now. Ooh.
Underestimating us will cost you.
I am glad I have Don Hung in this fight because those attacks hit really hard.
Beasts.
So having a shield is very nice. Okay. Well, the dot's still on the robot, so we'll just take him out while we're here.
Dragons soaring above the lands. This is permanent.
Gotta do it eventually anyway.
Arthur and I. Fight to the death.
Trinity is before me.
Alright, so we're almost there. Now, technically, Elation Team is good in this fight because you can break Rockin' Rebel's little stance there. You can see while he's playing and interrupt that. But as you're going to see, we want to save our Elation Team for Night 2. Now, maybe when Evanesha comes out, we'll have 2 Elation Teams, depending on how the supports go. I don't think that's going to quite work, because I think both Silver Wolf and Evanesha are going to want Yao Guang, despite what people on the internet might tell you. I think that's how that's going to go, but we'll see. Obviously, we have... You can get a little sneak preview of Evanesha and Currency Wars right now, but
I offer my blood to
I don't count that as useful information, other than determining how fun she is, which I think she's very fun. I love having the big nuke ultimates. That's why I like Ashvale too.
Interesting. Fight to the death.
We have the
God says you're shaky. I offer my beasts slaughter each other.
Alright, so this should get us pretty close. Yeah.
Trinity is before me.
My job is fill the doors.
Nope. Don't forget to hit Tribu's buff. That's very easy to do once you start getting moving here. Okay, so now we've got the new enemy type, the Joy Ascendant, I believe they're called. And so they're pretty annoying because when you take one out, it will split into 2, and then that copy will also split into 2. And that's kind of annoying. Now, they do have pretty low HP, all things considered, and they have less HP as they split.
I offer my blood to beasts.
All right, so you'll see. That's not quite how I wanted that to go, because I wanted to split them first. I probably should have attacked first to split them.
God says you're shady.
That's alright. I think we'll still be okay. So ideally we'll split them both, and then we can kind of knock them down like dominoes with Ashvale's ult. Okay, I'm gonna save Tribu's ult, so I've been kind of sloppy with that too.
I offer my blood to consume.
Oh, I did it again. Alright.
Slaughter each other.
Let's take that one out. Alright, now all 4 of them are out.
Is it coming? I feel that flame.
Now we'll use Tribu's ult.
Fight to the death.
Seek and you shall
Okay.
receive.
So in the middle of all that, we kind of hit the Rockin' Rebel guy pretty hard too, so it won't be too hard to finish him off.
Fight to the death.
We've got 1 turn left. So we managed to actually keep splitting them pretty even, which is good. If you do get in a situation where you have one of them split and one of them hasn't split yet, you can always tell the difference because the one that hasn't split yet will be like taller or bigger. Yeah, and you can see Ashvale just chews through them.
Dragons soaring above the lands. This is permanent.
Archer and I. Fight to the death.
Underestimating us will cost you.
I'm gonna save Tribby. Oh, no, don't even need it. Okay, there we go. So we got it. 2-cycle clear with Ashvale. It's pretty solid. Not too much more to say about it. Let's go on to the next demo. Okay, so for night 2, we have the Sparksy boss, and we've got the Elation team featuring Sparksy, which is fun. Let's get to the demo. So presently there is no, like, Elation sustain. So you can kind of play who you want.
Intentionally feeding.
Huohuo is
Let me teach you some moves.
pretty good, even though Silverwolf does not require energy. But anything that's going to get Yaoguang energy is pretty nice.
Always say that observe the heavens with my divination.
So the more Yaoguang ultimates you get, the more Aha instants you get, and that is always good. And so this is going to get us immediately into Silverwolf's ultimate, which I want to pop before our next Aha instant. So the reason why I say that as far as Silverwolf's ultimate is because her Elation skill will change once she's in her ultimate form. So if she's not in her ultimate, it will build her MMR, which will basically get you her ultimate. And that's one of the reasons why Yaoguang is so great, because you can just get it right away. And you can see there, her Elation skill turns to a big nuke once she is in her ultimate. And we want the big nuke. But depending on the speed of your team, it can be pretty easy to like have the Aha instance pop up right away. And then you kind of miss your opportunity to get the ult up, and then you just load up on MMR. Which isn't necessarily bad either, but it's better to start doing damage as quickly as possible, in my opinion.
People always say, observe the heavens with my divinations. Best of luck.
So I have E1 Yaoguang, which is why she gets 40 punchline on her ultimate instead of 20, in case anybody is not aware of how that works. The rest of my team is E0 though. Okay. So I haven't talked about the Sparksy boss fight here yet. I mean, it's a pretty new fight, so I think most people kind of know the mechanics by now, but you do pick a teammate to go into the subfield and fight some enemies by themselves. And then when you kill the enemies, you get kicked back out, like just now. And you're... Oh, see, I missed... I missed the hitting Silverwolf's ultimate before the Aha instant. So I did the thing I just said not to do. I was talking and I missed it. But yeah, mechanically, you've got that subfield thing, and the characters that are still on the field can attack the monitors to either damage buff or decrease damage taken to the subfield teammate. Right, so you know we pick Silverwolf. She goes to the subfield, and Silverwolf is fighting these three enemies by herself, basically. And one of the reasons Elation is nice is because the elation skills will hit both sides. So Sparksy, even though she is on the main field, her skill will also hit the subfield enemies. Now, just to be clear, the two monitors on this side, if you hit the one on the left, that is the one that is the damage increase, and if you hit the one on the right, that's the damage taken decrease for your subfield character. But in this case, our characters are hitting both monitors anyway, so we don't have to choose.
Best of luck. An explosive start.
Yep, so you can see Yao Guang and Sparksy's abilities also hit the subfield enemies. You can see the total HP of the subfield enemies underneath the main life bar, so you can see it's at 63% right now. And that'll go down with every Silver Wolf attack here. Okay. Now, of course, elation skills do not use the normal damage multiplier, so I don't think the buff from that monitor even really helps all that much. I guess it does because a lot of Silver Wolf's damage is coming from her enhanced basic and not just her elation skill. I think that's how the math works on that. Okay. So we should be able to break out Silver Wolf here.
Don't thank me.
Come on, Sparksy. Yep, Sparksy broke her out. And Silver Wolf can drop her nuke on the main boss. And then we've got...
An explosive start.
we've got a lot of AHA instants going at the moment. Of course, Sparksy contributes directly to the punchline, goes straight to Silver Wolf's MMR.
Don't thank me.
This is Honkai.
Is that a zero cycle? We get the zero cycle. Yep, we got it. Alright, so zero cycle with your E0 main DPS is pretty solid. I do have the E1 Yao Guang, so that might have contributed considering how close the fight was there, but I also probably made some mistakes and things in there, so either way, this is why I'm saying you save your relation team for this fight. It's a good matchup. So let's go on to the next demo. Okay, so we've got Night 3, the Flame Reaver boss. I've got the Evernight squad. Let's do it.
Turn over this eternal.
Now, I call this the Evernight squad, but I think the cool thing about this team is everybody contributes to damage.
Let's try it this other way.
A lot of times, you might even consider Hyacine the main DPS. At least with Evernight E0. I've heard a lot of people talking about Evernight E2 lately for some reason, which is very strong. I think maybe they're a little overselling her a little bit, but you can come at me in the comments if I'm wrong. Just remember, folks, damage is not everything.
Shine for the heroes.
Attack frequency is also important. But I digress. Yeah, so these Mechatrons will pummel you. They get so many attacks. And it's a lot worse if you have imaginary or fire, basically if you line them up. So like all the Mechatrons are the same. The only difference is that their color lines up with the appropriate element. So in this case, it's imaginary and fire because they're yellow and red. And if you attack the... So if you attack the yellow one with imaginary damage, say, they just get another attack. And so if you are using one of those types of characters, you are gonna get hammered. Okay, I'm gonna use Everknight's ultimate first to get into her ultimate mode. I will then use Hyacine to build a little Memoria. Okay, I got one Memoria. And then, yep, hold Trailblazer's ultimate until after Mem goes. Now the other thing to watch for is when they do go into that stance, you can see it says 0 out of 7 under their name. So you need to hit them 7 times to get them out of this stance. Otherwise their toughness bar stays locked. I think they get some pretty considerable damage reduction. And they'll also hit you really hard. But fortunately, this team attacks a lot.
Don't blink.
So we're gonna knock them out pretty quick.
Hatred with love.
Oh, how many skill points do we get? Keep skilling. Now, typically, I will keep attacking with Cyrene in this team. But if you find yourself a little short on energy with Hyacine, you can always use her ult on Hyacine. Which I might need to do. We'll see. Alright. So, let's see. Do I need it or not? I think maybe when Flame Reaver hits us, she'll get it back. I'm gonna wait until Flame Reaver gets his Phantoms up. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we're good on the Cyrene ult.
Don't blink. Cleanse hatred with love. Trust me.
We can do anything!
Your time to shine. We meet again. Don't worry. Night falls.
Alright, we took the Phantoms out pretty quick.
Don't blink.
You want to take the Phantoms out so that
Cleanse hatred with love.
he does not hit you with this big bomb attack.
Rise and shine. Please open up. You'll meet it with next time.
And this team is all AoE, so we're gonna
Umbrella in hand.
take them out regardless.
Destruction with me.
But it is one reason why this fight does favor having some AoE in it on your team.
Trust me.
We can do anything!
Stop messing up. Have some fun. Again.
Oh, so close. Can Cyrene do it? Not quite.
Have some sunshine.
Alright, Hyacine will definitely get him.
Energized.
Okay. So let him get the Phantoms back out before using the results.
Next time it rains, I'll be there. Umbrella in hand. Don't blink. Cleanse hatred with love. Don't worry. Night falls.
Yeah, even Cyrene is contributing on the damage front,
Rise and shine.
which is nice.
Time for some soup again. 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 So leave it with
And Hyacine is contributing quite a bit to the damage.
mirroring destruction with me.
I have much respect to those people who have done the Cyrene DPS builds. I haven't quite been able to figure that out myself.
Stop messing around.
So you see, I did get hit by the bomb, but in this team it doesn't really matter all that much.
Have some fun. Time for some sweet again. Again.
That particular phase, I think you have to kill 8 of the Phantoms.
Trust me.
which can take a little time. I've been hanging on to Cyrene's ult because you can. There's no consequence because you can just stack higher up. But yeah, I was waiting till the Phantoms came back out. So we're gonna do Cyrene, and then we'll do Hyacine.
Next time it rains, I'll be there, umbrella in hand. Take the answer. Guide the rain, so leave it with me.
Alright, so between the two of them, they were able to finish that off. Okay, so we got the 2 cycle clear. I would recommend playing Castress if you have her. The only reason why I picked Evernight is because I like to do these demos with E0 characters, and I have E2 Castress. So I decided to just do it with just Evernight. I wish some of the other HP characters were also good in this fight, but honestly, it's going to be hard to get them to do enough damage unless you have more Eidolons or something. But it's a tough one. But if you do have if you do have Castress or Evernight, it's pretty doable. Okay, so that does it for the Knights. Let's move on to the King. So for the King in check fight, we have the brand new Full Wish boss, which we'll talk about in a second. But let's first talk about the stage effects. We have carried over from the Knights, we have the stability effect. This is the decreased damage dealt by 10%, but also decreased damage taken by 10%. Now, this, and with how the boss is designed, kind of favors Sustainless a little bit. You'll get the little bit of damage reduction. And I have been able to zero cycle this with my E0 Silverwolf team. And I've also been able to clear it with the Sustainless E2 Firefly team. So that little 10%, I'm sure, contributes to that. There are other factors, which we'll see. But it does make it possible with an E0 team to get the zero cycle if you've got Silverwolf. So I'm not going to be brave enough to try that team today, as we'll see, because it does require some RNG. You have to hope that they don't burst down one particular character, so it might take a couple tries. But we're going to play it safe and play the sustain. For the other stage effect, also carried over from the other Knights, we've got the 2 stacks of 10% damage decrease that goes away every time you use your ultimate. This is just not a factor. It's not even that big of a damage debuff, and you'll clear it pretty quick with 2 ultimates. So I wouldn't worry too much about that one. It's just a little annoying. As far as the boss itself, this is the brand new Full Wish boss. So basically the new mechanics are this happiness mechanic. She'll spray a bunch of muck on you, and when she does that, you'll get a counter, which we'll see in the demo, next to your name, where you can get up to 6 stacks of this quote-unquote happiness sprayed on you. And when you have the happiness on you, Full Wish can drain your HP, which is bad, because she will also recover HP that way. And if it reaches 6 stacks, then you get a pretty nasty stun effect. So you want to avoid that as well. So to remove the happiness, you just need to attack. And you can also remove an extra stack of happiness if you take out one of her little plant things that she's going to summon. So again, frequent attackers are going to favor against this. So obviously, the Elation teams are good. They attack very frequently. Silverwolf attacks frequently with her Enhanced Basic. And they get a nice little extra bonus from when you kill one of her little plant minion things. It'll give you 5 punchline per plant. So that helps Silverwolf a lot as well, because Silverwolf wants as much punchline as possible. Other teams are going to be tough on this fight, I'll be honest, but, you know, someone who does attack frequently, like Ashvale, can be pretty good. I've had some success with Firefly, but we'll talk about that in the buff section. So let's take a look at those. For our buffs, we've got the first one, Cathartic Applause. This is elation damage dealt by all allied targets, ignores 30% of the target's defense, and ally characters gain 6 punch lines at the start of their turn. So that's pretty straightforward. That is your relation team buff. If you're going to play Silverwolf, go for it. I've also tried playing this with solo Sparksy, and, you know, obviously this is the buff you would pick, but she is lacking a bit in the damage department as far as being able to beat this boss or clear it in 2 cycles. But if you want to try, this is the one to use. For the second buff, we've got Devastating Sweep. This increases break damage dealt to all enemy targets by 30%. When an enemy target enters the weakness broken state, advances all allies' actions by 5%. So this is the Firefly buff. And as I said, I was able to 2-cycle this with my E2 Firefly playing Sustainless, which is a very powerful team, and I kind of just barely made it. So if you're going to attempt Firefly, this is the one to pick. I imagine Rappa could probably clear this. Probably not in 2 cycles, at least not under normal circumstances. I don't know if Boot Hill is going to be viable, so it's really mostly a Firefly buff. And finally, we've got Hallowed Abjuration. This is the generic for everybody buff. Increases the damage dealt by all ally targets by 40%. Decreases all type res of Paramount Bliss, Inverted Illwish, Archlotus, and their summons by 20%. So that's just the name for the big full wish boss at the end, and their summons are the little plant things that come up. So they get a little debuff there to their all type resistance. So this is going to be the, like I said, the generic one for everybody. I'll be honest with you, I have not been able to 2-cycle with any other teams besides my crazy E6 Dot team, which Dot's probably pretty good choice, but I don't know if you're going to be able to 2-cycle it. That includes my E2 Phynon, and even Casterus, who is usually good for brute forcing, has some anti-synergy here. So when I was talking about that happiness debuff that they put on you, there's a weird little thing here where memo sprites do not count as your character attacking and will not clear the happiness debuffs. So Casterus is fine because she does her own attacks as well as the dragon attacks, but there's a good chance your Hyacine is going to get stunned because she almost never attacks on her own. Unless you actually use her basic, so you might need to like mix it up a little bit. It can be done, and if you can work around that, Casterus is probably a pretty good choice. But it's going to be tough if you don't have Elation. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just going to be honest with you on this one. So that is why I am going to be using my E0 Silverwolf team, and like I said, I'm going to be playing it with Sustain. It's very viable to do Sustainless, so I've 0-cycled with this team, just replacing Ho-Ho with Tribby. And so getting that Dance 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 advance is really nice to go along with the team. But I'm going to be a coward and use this team for the demo. So let's check that out. Alright, so we've got our new big bad Full Wish boss.
Let's have some fun.
Baneful cloud scatter.
Intentionally feeding. Let me teach you some moves.
Okay, so a lot of what we talked about in Night 2 is the same thing here. We're going to want to make sure we hit Silverwolf's ult immediately after this. Oh, I just accidentally hit the basic attack button on Sparksy, so I missed some punchline there. I'm not going to worry too much about it, though.
Don't thank me.
We'll get it back one way or the other.
This is Honkai.
Fiends or devils. I'll crush them all.
So Ho contributing to getting more Yaoguang ults, which is always good. Now, if you're wondering about Silverwolf's enhanced basic as far as like AoE and whatnot, I believe most of the enhanced basic attack is bounce, so it should do the same amount of damage whether, or close to the same amount of damage whether you're attacking with one target or multiple targets, which is nice. It does mean it's a bit random from the AoE perspective, because it's like random bounces. Okay, so we were able to like take out the new enemy really fast there. Alright. I'm gonna heal just to get the energy.
Thank you for your help.
Okay, make sure you don't miss the Yaoguang buff.
People always observe the heavens with my divination. That omen. Don't thank me.
This is Honkai.
Okay, so we get one shot. Silverwolf left before her battery runs out. Nice big chunk of damage. And I think we should have enough on this Aha instant to just get right back into her ult.
An explosive start.
Wiped him out.
Yep.
Next round.
It's a little weird if you're playing on controller when you try to like pause to do Silverwolf's ult. It doesn't work until like the Aha instant is like entirely over. Sometimes I'll accidentally think I'm pressing it and hit the basic attack, but that's a skill issue.
Thank you for your help.
Fiends or devils. I'll crush them all.
Alright, pretty good shape so far. Oh, I should talk about the mechanics. So you see that 4/6 over Silverwolf's name? That's that happiness counter. And Silverwolf can keep it in check because she'll be killing the plants a lot. The one you gotta watch is Ho because she doesn't attack a lot.
That omen. Don't thank me.
So next time Ho-Ho's turn comes up, I'm actually gonna have her basic. Use her basic.
This is Honkai.
Yeah, because if I didn't do that, she was gonna get stunned. She might still get stunned if I'm not careful here.
Trouble ahead. Stars favor us.
I think if you can end the phase, it will clear the happiness again, and then she'll have to start mucking you again.
An explosive start.
Wiped him out. Next round.
So I think there is more subtlety to on how to play Silverwolf, because like if you can time her like attacks a certain way, like if you clear for example, if you clear a wave before her enhanced basic end, I think you just straight up get like an extra turn.
That omen. Don't thank me.
but I have not mastered that yet. If somebody has had time to master Silver Wolf already and understands that better, please leave a comment. I'm just a guy on the internet. What do I know? Okay, so as you saw, we finished the phase, so like we're good on the happiness again, or at least we were.
Fiends or devil, I'll crush them all.
So I'm gonna attack with Woho to try to keep that down a little bit. Alright, so she's charging up her big attack here. So again, for the rest of the Elation team, it's pretty easy to keep that happiness down.
This is Honkai.
Okay. Woho getting pretty dangerously close to getting stunned here. Ah, there we go. Silver Wolf saving the team with her global passive.
People always observe the heavens with my divinations. That only. Don't thank me.
Wiped him out.
Divination says this will hurt.
Next round, real gaming.
Stars favor
Okay,
us.
good. I got a chance to get Yao Guang's buff up first. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty big attack. We're up to 139 punchline.
Test of luck.
So I think this will do it.
Explosive start.
Yeah, didn't even need the Silver Wolf bomb. Okay, so that was a little messy. I definitely had better clears, but we did hit the 2 cycles. And like I said, try it sustainless. Put in Tribi or EMC in that 4th slot, and with some decent RMG, like I think it only took me like 2 or 3 tries. You can 0 cycle this. It's very doable with E0 characters. So give it a shot. That is, of course, if you are playing Silver Wolf. If you are not, this is gonna be a real tough one to hit 2 cycles, folks. I'm sorry. There's just no way around it. You'll be able to clear it. You'll be able to get at least 1 star, but getting the 3 stars is gonna be tough. So, you know, if you manage to do it with some of the other teams that I was mentioning, let me know in the comments. But it's gonna be hard. Alright, so that'll do it then for Anomaly Arbitration for version 4.2. Hopefully you found this helpful, or at least a bit entertaining. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.